So, what if the key to universal well being wasn't some brand new discovery, but actually a really ancient practice? Today, we're going to explore Gayatri Yajna. It's a core concept from Indian spirituality that suggests this powerful link between our inner thoughts and our outward actions. Let's really unpack what it is and why it's considered so foundational. Our guide for this journey is a text called An Introduction for the Layman, and its whole goal is to make these pretty profound ideas clear and accessible for everybody. So everything you're about to see and hear comes directly from this source, which gives us a really focused look into its perspective. The text kicks things off by asking a massive question. What is the single, enduring source behind a civilization that has thrived for thousands and thousands of years? That's a question that gets right to the heart of culture, spirituality, and identity. So let's see how the source answers it. All right, to find the answer, we've got to travel back, way back to the very beginning. Let's explore what the text calls the perennial source. And the text points to one single origin, the Veda. Now, this is a really crucial point because the word Veda itself literally means knowledge. So we're not just talking about old texts. We're talking about a foundational body of wisdom that serves as the bedrock for, well, everything else. The source presents this really beautiful metaphor here. Think of it this way. If the Veda is this vast ocean of knowledge, then Gayatri is its very essence. It's the spring from which all of Indian philosophy, culture, and civilization just continuously flows. But Gayatri isn't the whole story. It's actually one half of a super powerful partnership. So let's meet the two central figures of this explainer, Gayatri and Yajna. The source really emphasizes that these two concepts are deeply intertwined. You can't really get one without the other because they represent two sides of the same coin. You've got the internal and the external, and they're meant to work in perfect sync. Okay, let's dive into this because this is such a beautiful and simple way to understand it. Gayatri is called the mother, and she symbolizes the purity of our thoughts and our intentions. Then you have Yajna, the father, who symbolizes the purity of our actions out in the world. See, one is the inner world, the other is the outer world. Now, to really understand this dynamic, we need to zoom in on that father principle, Yajna. And as we're about to see, the source explains it as something much, much deeper than just a physical ritual. So what is a yajna? Well, on the surface, it's a ritual. It involves offerings made to a sacred fire. But the key thing here is the symbolism. This whole act represents these core principles of sacrifice and selfless service to others. And this is where the text makes it so incredibly relatable. To explain sacrifice, it points to the most universal analogy there is, motherhood. A child is born only through the mother's sacrifice, right? So the source argues that life itself actually begins with an act of yajna. This idea is so central that it's even echoed in the Bhagavad Gita. This quote suggests something really profound, that humanity and the principle of sacrifice were born at the exact same moment, just like twins. They are fundamentally inseparable. So we've met the mother, representing pure thought, and the father, representing pure action. Now let's see what happens when these two powerful forces actually come together. And this right here is the core idea. When the pure intention of Gayatri meets the selfless action of Yajna, the effect just ripples outward. It spreads morality, purity, and well-being throughout society. It's not one or the other, it's the two working together. And the scope of this goal is just huge. The source is very, very clear that this isn't just about human well-being. No, it's about universal welfare, which embraces every living being, every creature, and the planet itself, the whole shebang. This brings us to one of the most remarkable parts of the source text, where this ancient philosophy is claimed to have tangible, real-world effects. Let's explore this idea of yajna as a tool for actually purifying the world. Okay, so now the source makes a truly bold claim. It argues that the benefits of yajna aren't just spiritual, but they're also physical and material, and that these benefits can actually be verified by modern scientific experiments. And this breaks down the process as described in the source. So first, offerings with specific medicinal and chemical properties are used. As these are offered to the fire, Vedic mantras are chanted.
This combination is said to create these molecular waves that spread through the atmosphere, purifying it and destroying pollutants and other harmful elements.
To bring this into a modern context, the source makes a really striking comparison. It suggests that Yajna could be a more effective method for controlling infectious diseases than chemical agents like DDT, arguing that it works by purifying the entire environment on a much broader scale. So, after all the philosophy, the rituals, and the science, what's the ultimate goal? The text boils it all down to a single, beautiful prayer that really sits at the heart of this entire worldview. Let happiness prevail everywhere.
And so, that leaves us with a pretty powerful question for our own time. By connecting ancient wisdom with claims of scientific proof and this vision of universal welfare, the source really challenges us to consider, what can these ancient practices teach us about our own modern search for a healthier, happier world?